What is up, guys? Welcome back to another one. And today, because I can't catch a fish, it's blowing 50 miles an hour. I did buy a kayak. I haven't posted that on YouTube yet. If you follow me on TikTok and Instagram, so you've seen that. Gone out 3 times. Like I said, no fish. Can't catch a fish. I figured I would take the time to talk about these, a rod and reel arsenal. This is what you guys are going to see me whipping for 2023. We got some tournaments coming up in about a month. It's almost April, but I figured I need a video. I need to get back into it. I've tried 4 times now to catch fish and I can't. So we're gonna talk about our rods and reels. We've got all these guys. There, those two. And all those rods, they kind of serve their own purpose. I saw a good analogy online the other day. It's like, you know, golfers go golfing with a whole set of clubs. They don't just take one club. They don't just take their driver, their putter, and play entire 18 holes with it. They have a different club for different needs. And that's the exact same way about fishing poles. So I'm going to tell you guys what I got, what I use it for, and we're going to go through, I don't even know how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 or 11 rods for this year. First up, we have a Shimano SLX on a Cashin. I forget the exact model. I think it's a little bit older. It's just a 7-foot medium heavy. I like to use this for all my chatterbaits and swim jigs. So if you guys see me throwing this around, 7.2 to 1 gear ratio reel. I got 14-pound fluoro on it, but I got my Blue Rock Echo vibrating jig on it and Fire Crawl. This color gets messed up in the spring. You can see the head's been banged up. Fish love it. I throw it all the time. I basically always have one of these with me. This rod gets used the most, probably compared to any of these. I just always have it with me. Big confidence bait. Next up is kind of an all-purpose rod. Right now I have a spinnerbait on it. I'll throw a spinnerbait on a couple other rods I'll show you guys. This is a Arc Rods Catalyzer, a 7.3 medium heavy, and I have a Lose Classic Pro on here with 12-pound fluoro. Right now I got a Blue Rock spinnerbait on there. Ooh, sorry. This reel is a 7.5 to 1 gear ratio reel. Nothing much to it. It gets it done. It's a little fast for a reel I would like to use for a spinnerbait. However, I don't know. I'm not gonna go. I'm a broke high school kid. I can't go buy a bunch of $500 reels. That's why I do use it on some of the other ones. But I just kind of have to take a mental note of, all right, slow down. You can't crank this one. It's not 6.3 to 1. So that is spinnerbait rod. Next up, I have a 6.6 G Loomis jig and Texas rig rod here, paired up with a 13 Fishing Origin. It's a pretty sweet chrome reel. Got a pretty nice deal on it. This rod is the jig and Texas rig rod. You see right there. Got some heavier line on this, 15-pound test, and I got it paired up with a Sasquatch Jigs football head jig, Big Daddy Molt with a BizBaits cutter crawl. Pretty sweet combo there. This is for my football heads. Texas rig, a little bit, mainly just a football head. If I'm going to be dragging something, I'm going to be using this. The reel, 8.1 to 1. Again, a little fast, but I don't see it as an issue because it's more using the rod to retrieve something and then reeling back up the slack and using the rod. So if I do have a faster reel and I'm using the rod, I can get to fish faster and get them in quicker. So that is the jig and Texas rig rod. Next up is the 13 Fishing Origin. This is just the combo straight up. It's on a Fate Chrome rod. Is a 7.4 heavy. Again, another 8.1 to 1 gear ratio reel. I got some heavier line on this because it is a heavy rod. 17-pound fluoro. This is my big swim bait rod. Again, because I'm working it more with the rod, or I'm just dragging it. It's not so much, all right, you're burning it like a crankbait, you know. So right now I do have a Megabass Mag Draft on it. Great pre-spawn bait, especially around here. I caught my biggest fish ever second biggest fish ever on one of these a couple years ago. So got one tied on in the spring. Nothing too shabby. This is Big Swim Bait Rod. All right, now we got one of my, this is probably my most finesse bait casting setups. This is, I have a shaky head tied on it right now. This is again, an arc rods catalyzer with a Daiwa Arid, a pretty old reel, but this is a 7.3 medium heavy, like the last one. Right now I have a Biz Baits Dizzy Diamond tied on it with a Blue Rock tackle shaky head on there. Right there, good looking bait. This is my finesse, nothing really too special. 6:4 to 1 gear ratio, 12-pound fluoro, nothing crazy, gets it done. A cheap but deadly setup. Next up is a Ducket 7-foot medium heavy, right there. Got this paired up with a Shimano SLX 7:3 to 1 gear ratio, or 7:2 to 1, I forget. But 12-pound fluoro. Right now I got a Berkeley, I believe this is the dredger on there. Just a, like kind of a intermediate. This is a more all-purpose rod. I can use it. This is the rod I would throw spinnerbait on if I didn't have it set up as a backup cranking rod right now. Right now the fish are a little bit more offshore in Ohio, so I got 2 cranking setups, this being the second. So this will fluctuate a little bit between spinnerbait, cranking. It's more of an all-purpose rod for me, but it gets it done. Pretty solid setup. Next is the broomstick of my arsenal. It is a Lew's Laser 7.4 heavy. I have a umbrella rig on there right now, paired with a Critical Fishing. I saw this reel at the Bassmaster Classic last year. Figured I'd try it, see, why not? So far, it's all right, getting it done for $100. 8:1 to 1 gear ratio. This is my frogging setup. That's why I got 30-pound braid on there. Right now I'm using a leader with the umbrella rig, obviously. Haven't thrown it much, but it might come into play in some tournaments here in the pre-spawn, out in channels, bass chasing bait pre-spawn. So this is the broomstick, gets it done. Main use is frogging. All right, guys, this rod is also one of the backbones of my arsenal. This is probably the rod I'm using the most on my tournaments on Lake Erie. If you guys see me flipping a jig up anywhere, if you see me flipping a little creature bait up anywhere, I'm using this rod. It is a Arc Rods catalyzer. Again, another 7.3 medium heavy. Actually, this might be a heavy. This is a 7.2 heavy, my bad. With a Daiwa Tatula 8:1 to 1. I got some heavier line on there. This is I believe it's 17-pound. Right now I have a Blue Rock 1099 jig tied on there. Pretty good looking little finesse jig. Not much to this rod. It gets it done. It's my backbone. I like the faster reels if I am flipping something up. I like to be able to get fish out quick so they can't dive back into the thick stuff, but this rod does a great job of doing that. So this is the meat and potatoes of my arsenal, I would say, if I'm fishing a tournament on Erie. All right, next up is my main cranking stick. I have a Lew's carbon fiber speed stick. It came as a combo, but I've beat the reel up over the years, and it's now kind of like the reserve. If something goes south, I can pick that reel up. I got it paired with a Daiwa Tatula CT 6:3 to 1. This rod is a 7-foot medium heavy. Right now I got a flat side crankbait on there, big as you guys can see right there. All-purpose cranking. The reel is 6:3 to 1 gear ratio. I really like it. I just picked it up at the Bassmaster Classic. 12-pound fluoro on all my cranking rods. Any rod I will be throwing a crankbait, I got 12-pound fluoro. I feel like that's the heaviest I can go with it still hitting its max potential for depth. So this is my crankbait rod. If I'm cranking, it's probably this one. All right, next up is a really old beat up rod. This is one of my 2 spinning combos. This is a old 13 Fishing rod. It came as a combo a long time ago, but it is, since then, everything is completely worn off about it. I just got a little swim bait on there right now, but it is paired up with I believe this is a Okuma Stratus. Sounds about right. It's 5-3-1. I got some 10-pound braid on here with a 12-pound fluoro leader, so nothing crazy. This is a pretty old combo, probably my oldest one that I still use. Gets beat up, but it gets the job done, and it will catch fish, so I like it. It's cheap, gets it done. That's probably the moral of this video. Everything's cheap, but it gets it done. Next up is this is one of my little splurge items. Something more expensive up on the list is a St. Croix rods, 7-foot medium Mojo bass rod right there, paired up with a Fluger Summit XT. Got the same line set up, 10-pound braid with the 12-pound fluoro. Got the drop shot on there right now. I like this combo a lot. Probably my go-to spinning combo. So if I'm throwing a wacky rig, it's probably on this. You guys will see it a lot. So, you know, I do have a couple expensive items like the new CT. The SLXs, they're not the $400 rods, but they're also not the $60 reels or stuff like that. So that's everything. All right, guys, that is the rods and reels I am going to be using for the 2023 tournament season. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Figured I'd throw something together quick while I'm on spring break and while the weather's crappy. Especially since I can't catch a fish. I got a nice little cooler tower here for my tripod. But if you guys enjoyed, if you guys found anything informational, if you got any questions, let me know in the comments. We'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.